So this is basically an IDV playthrough where we're gonna go through the thought process behind everything that I personally do as a hunter. So at the beginning, you basically have to look around, make sure you have tinnitus activated. What I do is I go around to all the nearest ciphers with tinnitus, and if I notice that it's activated and there is survivors nearby, go to that nearest cipher. So this is what I'm doing here. My tinnitus shows me that there's something nearby, and I go towards the nearest cipher to that location. And here I end up overestimating my hitbox a lot, so just missing a lot of hits here. So yeah, Axeboy has a big hitbox, but it's not that big. And yeah, I'm just going after the gardener here, overestimated my hitbox again. And basically just, yeah, following her and missing a ton of hits. Yeah, just checking, and you can see that Perfumer ended up going for the rescue. But here, what I do right after I chair someone is I plant a tree near them so that I can use the resentful souls on anyone who comes to rescue. So Perfumer is going in for the rescue, and I patrol like around the area, going all the way around the chair to use tinnitus to figure out which location the person going in the rescue is coming from. So here I'm just looking for where the Perfumer will end up coming, and now I'm camping near the chair because I heard that she's coming from that direction. And there I was going to try and grab a soul on them when she went in for the rescue, but I missed it and it was a little late, but I ended up getting the gardener again either way. And since Lucky Guy came there near, I then had another target. This game wasn't perfect. I ended up missing a ton of hits and souls since it was my first hunter game of the day. So yeah, there I'm going around instead of through the window to not waste more time. And since Axeboy cuts down pallets relatively quick, I didn't waste my time using them. And now, I would have had a much harder time if Lucky Guy had jumped back to the other side of the pallet, but he didn't. He ended up just going around for some reason, like he did here, just running in the other direction, so it was a lot easier to get him. And everyone else is decoding. So I went and I put him in the furthest part of the basement to make sure it would be harder to get him. And then here I am going to plant another tree just so I can get them with the resentful souls. And I was going to hide behind the chair, but I decided against it because I just get bored sitting around waiting, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, and here I am just using Listen and Tinnitus a lot just to figure out who's coming, where they're coming from. Yeah, and I just ended up missing a lot of hits this game. Like there, I could have hit her, was late with it. And I'm lucky I got him there before he went through the window, to be honest. So that's the second one down. And truthfully, I want to have more than 2 down when there's only 1 cipher left. So yeah, this is where I started having some difficulty, because it took me a minute to figure out where they were, since Perfumer ended up getting away instead of sticking around after I got Lucky Guy the second time. And here, with tinnitus, I ended up hearing that there was someone over there, which is really good, so I ended up going over to that cipher. I did end up kind of losing her trail, actually. I had to figure it out from a distance, but something that played a lot to my advantage here, which is something I wasn't expecting, is they both went to each other, both Perfumer and Gardener, so I had a lot of an easier time following them because they were both so near to each other. So I ended up actually finding Perfumer instead of Gardener, which made it easier to get her since she was already hurt. Yeah, and I ended up getting her right before the pallet closed, which was really lucky. So after I chaired her, I went on with my usual routine of planting a tree and then patrolling around to see which direction the gardener would come in to save from. So at this point, I was expecting the gardener to come save, since there was only 1 cipher left and she was in perfect condition. So I was kind of waiting around, listening. So yeah, you can see me just walking around the chair, trying to figure out what direction she'll come save from. And it was around this time where I was starting to think, okay, something's up, she's not coming. So I assumed that she must be sitting at the dungeon already. So I went in the direction of the dungeon to go check out the dungeon, because I assumed that the gardener was already at the dungeon, and that was the reason she didn't save. And then once I found the dungeon, I thought she might be hiding out somewhere around it, so I was kind of looking around to see where she was. And then I quickly realized that she was not there, and she was just running around. So that's when I went to listen again, and then I went to go find her. And then she had crows, so I was able to find her easily after that. To which she decided to duck in this corner for some reason. And then this is really funny, she ended up getting stuck in between me and the boxes. Which I assume I was gonna get her anyways, but I think it's just kind of funny that that's how it played out. And yeah, that's it. I did accidentally hit the chair as it was spinning away, but yeah, that's the end. That's basically my thought process throughout.